Hello everyone. Good morning, good evening, good afternoon. I hope you all are doing good. First of all, thank you so much for joining in. And if you are joining the stream for the very first time, please make sure to subscribe to the YouTube channel and please make sure to like the live stream and press the notification bell icon so that whenever the live stream starts, although we update it over my Twitter account and in the Discord channel also, but yeah, you will be automatically notified even if you are not in the server, or if you're not active on Twitter, right? So please make sure to press the notification bell icon, and yeah, please make sure to like the live stream. Also, if you are not so just one second. Also, if you're not following me over Twitter, 𝗟𝘅𝗿𝗏, this is my Twitter account, and I occasionally post updates, market updates, and signals, a few calls over my Twitter account also. So please make sure that you are following me over my Twitter account, 𝗟𝘅𝗿𝗏. Once again, this is the Twitter handle. And finally, if you would like to receive more organized market updates and feed, then you can obviously join in our Discord server. The link you can find in the description of this video, uh, for the Discord server. And if you would like to access the premium server for free, what you can do is you can simply just join Bluffin using this, referral link of ours. Okay, so this is important for all of you. Even if you are looking for a discount on your premium subscription, even if you are just looking for a trial, a 14-day trial or something like that, you can always join in using this link. And even if you are an existing Bluffin user, okay, because Bluffin is our go-to exchange, we always recommend everyone to use Bluffin. We are still although partnered with Bybit, but we had a few issues with Bybit, and that's why we simply just switched to Bluffin. So yeah, if you encounter any issues using Bluffin, if you have any suggestions, if you would like any changes, related to functionalities or interface, you can always let us know in my personal DM also, because we are regularly in contact with people over Bluffin and, always telling them, whatever our customers actually want from us, whatever the audience wants from us, if there is a new feature, or like, if there are any changes that need to be made, we would always try our best to facilitate you. So yeah, even if you are an existing Bluffin user, all you have to do is simply just join the Discord server and give us your Bluffin UID, and you can access the Discord server free for the next 14 days. Okay, this is an exclusive offer for all of you. Okay, so let's start the stream. This is going to be once again an important live stream, and if you guys may have any questions, uh, if you have any questions, any queries, any chat requests, then please make sure to drop it in the chat box. Uh, I would be taking the questions later on, but first of all, let me just quickly give you the market update and a few important coins we will be taking a look at. One position I'm already in, by the way. If you have not taken that position, I don't know if that one is on entry or not. This one is for TWT. Yeah, okay. So this one is a short position which is running for us right now. And this one is down almost 4% right now. But yeah, the analysis that I did, it was on the daily time frame chart. Okay, this is the only short position, once again, by the way, that I'm in. Uh, you know, uh, I gave it this short trade I gave out yesterday, and this has tapped the entry like 2 to 3 times already, and now price is dropping down a little bit. Let's see what happens, because we still have time, almost like 21 minutes till the US market opens, and we'll see what happens. First of all, let's just quickly try to understand what exactly has happened in the past 24 hours. So the news basically came in from China. China launched their own AI model. Apparently a company called DeepSeek, they launched their own AI model, their own chatbot, based on artificial intelligence. And this is by the way a company that only has 200 employees. I don't know how true that is, but as per the information that has been coming in from China, there are only 200 employees working in this company, and they have managed to beat OpenAI and few other very famous AI models on all of these performance benchmarks, uh, you know, uh, apparently with a very good margin, right? And they have managed to do this with only a $6 million budget. Okay, so we just recently saw that Trump announced that they would be partnering up with Oracle. They would be partnering up. Government is going to invest $600 billion in partnership with all of these big AI giants, with all of these big AI companies. And, apparently, DeepSeek has, cut the cost by 95%. Okay. I wouldn't go into the details of all those things, like the technicals and all that, but, apparently, once again, they have managed to create this model. They have managed to develop this AI model, this AI chatbot, only with a budget of $6 million, which is absolutely amazing, right? Which is crazy, because all of these big AI giants like Nvidia, and this is what exactly happened in the past 24 hours also, the stock market went down a little bit, 2%, 3%. Most of the AI stocks, okay, it was a very targeted for it was a very targeted kind of thing, because not all the stocks were down basically, but most of the AI stocks, or most of the companies that had some kind of exposure to the AI industry, they were basically down. And Nvidia, something that happened with the crypto market also, most of the AI coins, they were down, except for uh, quite a few. Most of the AI coins, for example, we have Render, we have a few other coins, they were down really bad, in the past 24 hours. And similar was the case with the AI stocks also in the past 24 hours. Nvidia stocks, they crashed almost like 22%. And this was the biggest market cap reduction for the Nvidia stocks. And that's how the whole stock market was down. And we know that crypto market, it has a very it's quite connected to the stock market. And whenever the stocks are down, the crypto market, it's always the first to take the hit. And exactly that happened. This thing, we are less focused on the fundamentals part. We are always talking less about the fundamentals and all those things. But yeah, this was the basic fundamental reason why we had this move down on Bitcoin. From 103,000, 104,000, all the way down to, like, 99,000, 98,000. Okay, price retested the support area, and then we had a good bounce, and now it's retesting the trend line. So it's a very important thing, because we are literally at the resistance in terms of trend line, in terms of this horizontal resistance. This is everything we'll be talking about in the later half of the stream. But yeah, just wanted to give you guys a quick background as to what exactly has happened in the past 24 hours. So Nvidia stock, they were down almost 20%, 22%, just in a matter of few hours. In the pre-market also, they were down almost like 10%. And that's how the whole stock market, it took a hit. And once again, the crypto market also reacted to that part. But if you would focus on the chart, somebody is asking, what are your thoughts on 𝗬𝗫𝑢𝑟𝑖𝑠𝑡 coin? I don't know how to pronounce it. They just added DeepSeek onto their AI. First of all, I've not heard about the project. I don't know about this coin or the project. But yeah, it would take us some time to actually notice what exactly are the projects that are using DeepSeek, or they could just be making these statements. But yeah, we would have to research into this. I have no knowledge about this right now. Even if you would take a look at Dex Screener, you would see this new coin that launched almost like exactly 32 hours ago. So it was 9 a.m. 27th of January when this coin called DeepSeek was launched, and it was up, and it went up almost like 6,000%, 7,000% just in a matter of few hours. And then all of these degens, they started making these coins with similar names, and someone literally launched a coin which they later rug pulled on, called DeepFuck. Okay, so DeepSeek, DeepFuck, DeepGirl, DeepBoy, DeepGuy, all of these degens, they have been launching same kind of different AI coins. So instead of paying attention to these instead of paying attention to these meme coins and all these projects, we should be focused more on more established projects. Okay, so first of all, let's just quickly take a look at the Bitcoin chart. What exactly is happening with Bitcoin? It's the same entry model that we have talked about over and over again during our past live streams also. Nothing really has changed. People have been absolutely bullish on Bitcoin. People have been absolutely bullish on the stock market. I don't know what exactly is the reason, because I have been saying this thing for the past 24 hours, that it's a very same playbook that we have seen happen over and over again. Okay, it's a very same playbook that we have seen play over and over again. Price would break below the trend line. Whenever there is a trend line formation, we know that people would be placing their stop losses below these lows, price would eventually have a very impulsive break below the trend line. This is exactly what happened in the past 24 hours also. And you know me, right? Once again, less focused on fundamentals and more focused on technicals. I'm always saying that, any information that you would need regarding any financial instrument, it's always available right in front of you in the charts. Okay, so some people would say that, markets were down, crypto market was down mainly because of the stock market during the past 24 hours, but I would say that this was mainly because of this trend line, because we had the first bounce of the trend line, we had the second bounce of the trend line, then we had this third bounce of the trend line. And we do this thing that whenever you have three bounces of a trend line, that's when the formation of a trend line, it's basically confirmed. Okay, and we had a very impulsive break below the trend line, then we went up. We basically bounced off this 4-hour quarterly VWAP. If I quickly show you, this is a 4-hour yearly VWAP. This red line right here, this is a 4-hour yearly VWAP. Price struggled a little bit around here. Then we managed to, bounce off this 4-hour yearly VWAP. Then we went on to retest once again. If I just completely ignore these dynamic lines, this whole move in itself is a very bookish kind of a move, because you see, we have the first bounce, we have the second bounce, we have the third bounce. That's when the formation of trend line is confirmed. Then we had this impulsive break below the trend line. And if you guys remember some of my previous live streams, because I'm always talking about things most of the times, at least in terms of trend lines, and we know that, whenever price would break below the trend line, it would eventually fall back into some higher time frame support area. Okay, so this was a higher time frame support area, 98.5k. We know that 98.5k, and then the next support is around like 95.3k, and then the next support is around like 92.5k, 91k, where we have created this deviation move. We will be talking about that later on, because this, in my opinion, is a very good spot to take a long position. I'm not willing to take any long position right now, but looking at this move right now, I would not encourage taking long positions. Although, I've been looking at Twitter. People are literally overly bullish right now. People, most of the traders, they're actually stuck in the long positions, and they have been overly bullish about this whole move. People are literally just begging that, okay, price somehow reclaims this 1 or 2k region, because we are at the resistance. And if you have been following some of my market updates, you would remember this thing that when price was breaking below this trend line, I already had mentioned that it would eventually go back up, retest this trend line, and that's when we would see some kind of rejection. Obviously, you cannot predict the extent of the reaction. You can never really know what exactly is going to be the extent of this reaction. It could be a bigger reaction, it could be a small rejection or reaction at this point, but at least this is a very bookish kind of a move. So you have bounces off the trend line, price breaks below the trend line, falls back into higher time frame support, then goes back up and perfectly retests this trend line. Okay, perfectly gives a bearish retest at this trend line. So whenever price breaks below the trend line, it goes back up to give the bearish retest. Okay, and it's price is not only retesting this this trend line as a resistance, but also we have this 4-hour resistance. Okay, horizontal resistance around here. We know that this level price is almost always reacted to. We had the rejection around here, came back up, we had the bounce, created a deviation, once again we had the bounce, and now finally this region has been acting as a resistance area. So, most probably now, after this resistance, we would go back down to 98.5k, and then eventually, we can have a break below this 98.5k region as well, because looking at the USDT dominance chart, and by the way, this is all about the Bitcoin scenario right now. This is what I'm expecting on the Bitcoin chart right now. The rejection, the rejection already seems to have happened. The reaction has already started to happen, but we still would have to wait for the US market open, because it really depends on how stocks would perform. The ES, if you take a look at the ES chart, it's once again literally sitting at the resistance area. If you take a look at the S&P 500 chart, once again that one is also sitting at the resistance area. Nvidia stocks, they are up almost 5% after the Trump's announcement, because Trump said that they would be placing tariffs on some foreign chip makers, and let's see what happens with that. But Nvidia stock, they went up almost like 4%, 5% after that news, and it really depends on how stock market performs. Okay, but let's just focus on the Bitcoin chart for now. We are sitting at a resistance area. We have the trend line resistance, we have this horizontal resistance, we have 4-hour quarterly VWAP acting as a resistance area around here. And something that I mentioned a few hours ago as well, that I'm mainly focused on short positions. Okay, it's not just about the Bitcoin chart, but it has to do with, first of all, the USDT dominance chart, secondly with the total 2 chart, and finally with the others.d chart. And I would show you, later on when you guys would be giving some chart request, I would show you that most of these especially, I'm not talking about the higher market cap coins, I'm talking about the mid market cap coins or low market cap coins. They have been going absolutely nuts. They are performing absolutely shit, because most of these low market cap and mid market cap coins, they have already broken below their higher time frame supports. I'm not talking about the 4-hour support, I'm talking about the daily time frame support, I'm talking about the weekly support, I'm talking about the 3-day support. So most of these charts, I'm talking about mid market cap and once again low market cap coins, have already broken below their high time frame supports, which means that you should be more focused on short positions. Even if Bitcoin is going up, you may have noticed this during the past few hours, the price on the Bitcoin chart was going up, but all of these altcoins, they were mostly down. You can blame it on Bitcoin dominance, because Bitcoin dominance has been going up. Okay, had a rejection around this resistance area, we went down a little bit, then once again we bounced off this support area, because we have a nice support present somewhere around here. You can see that we had the first rejection, second rejection, third rejection, finally we had a break above, and now it was very much expected that Bitcoin dominance, it would go back up from this region, because this is the support for Bitcoin dominance. So yeah, you would have to take a look at all of these different charts side by side, and then decide what exactly you should be doing. And luckily you're watching this update, I'm telling you that you should be focused less on the long positions and more on short positions. Okay, I would be showing you a few charts for the reference, but yeah, this is all about the Bitcoin chart. Now let's just take a look at where exactly we can develop a long position, where exactly we can take a long position on Bitcoin, because once again, I'm not willing to take any short position on Bitcoin right now, because price is sitting very close to the all-time high. Although we have a resistance in the form of ELD quarterly VWAP, we have trend line resistance, we have 4-hour resistance, but I'm more interested because this is mainly a Bitcoin market. You guys know this thing, this is mainly a Bitcoin market. And because Bitcoin dominance has been going up, even if price on the Bitcoin chart, whenever Bitcoin dominance is reacting to the Bitcoin price, the altcoins, they're extremely sensitive. So even if the price on a Bitcoin chart goes up, with Bitcoin dominance also going up, altcoins, they are going to just consolidate, okay, because Bitcoin dominance obviously is going up. And if price on a Bitcoin chart starts going down with Bitcoin dominance going up, that's literally a nightmare for altcoin. So that's why I'm saying that Bitcoin dominance, it has been constantly going up, and most probably it will go back up to 65%, 70%, and that's when you would see an actual altcoin rally, if there is any altcoin rally. Because I just recently made a tweet about a similar kind of situation. I would share the link with you guys, you can read that tweet. It was a very important one, and I mentioned that you can it was basically based on humor mainly. But yeah, there are now 30 million tokens in the market right now, and there is not enough money. And just for information purposes, there are 30 million tokens, which means that there is one token for every 256 humans, including infants and houseplants. Okay, so if each one of these tokens would need $1 billion to go to moon, $1 billion to moon, that's literally 30 quadrillion, roughly 30x global GDP. And we would still be short even if we tax aliens and melt Antarctica for liquidity. So once again, your dog's meme coin is not competing with Bitcoin, it's actually fighting thermodynamics. Okay, you can read that post later on. Let me just quickly share the link with you in the chat box, and make sure to follow me over Twitter. Yeah, houseplants as well. And almost 60 people are watching the live stream, and only 28 of you have liked it. So please make sure to like the live stream and make sure to subscribe to the YouTube channel. So yeah, this is all about the Bitcoin chart, where exactly I would be willing to take a long position on Bitcoin. The only place where I would be interested in taking a long position is this 98.6k, 92.6k, 92.5k, 92.3k, because first of all, if you would like to draw the Fib retracement levels, then you may take a small risk around 96.9k, 96.3k region, because there is a possibility that price may dip down a little bit down to this region, 61% Fib level, 65% Fib level. But the main problem is that if we start consolidating in this region, if you wish to take a long position around here, then it must be filled in terms of a wick. Okay, there must be a wick down to this level, and then price needs to quickly go back up. But if price starts closing a few 4-hour candles in this region, okay, you would directly be trading under this resistance area. We know that 98.5k, this resistance, it would become a very strong level. Okay, it's actually a very strong level right now, and that's why you see this whole bounce happen from 98.5k, and this would simply just be flipped into a resistance area. So that's why, once again, I do not recommend taking long position, okay, around 61% fib level, 65% fib level for this whole move. I would say that if you are looking for an absolutely good opportunity to build a long position, then you should wait for 92.5k, 92.5k, 92.6k. I know that it may take some time for price to go back down to this region, 92.6k, 92.5k. But yeah, this is going to be the best possible long position for you in this whole situation, because you have a nice deviation move. Deviation itself is a very beautiful entry model. Deviation itself is a very powerful entry model. I have explained this in some of my previous live streams also. If you guys are interested, you can watch those live streams later on. Because these live streams, they are not just about me saying that, okay, this is what's going to happen with the Bitcoin chart, this is my analysis. I make sure to explain all the proper logic and reasoning while I'm explaining all of these charts. So deviation, once again, itself is a very powerful entry model, and I believe that if the price on a Bitcoin chart goes back down to this region, there are 90% chances that we would have a bigger move happen from this region. And in that area, we have no resistance present around. We have no higher time frame level present around. This is the only higher time frame support. Even if you would go to the lower time frame charts, and this is usually, that's how basically some people like to draw. Let me show you on the 5-minute time frame chart. By the way, you can take a look at the 5-minute time frame chart or the 15-minute time frame chart. We definitely have demand present around here, in this region and in this region. Okay, usually whenever you are, people have, by the way, different ways to draw demand supply zones. Some people like to use fibs, some people like to use order blocks, but one very popular way of looking at demand supply zones, and it works absolutely great on the Bitcoin chart, is that before any higher time frame move happens, before any big impulsive wave in one direction, you can always go to the smaller time frame chart and find out the region of consolidation. So in this situation, we had this huge impulsive move in one direction towards upside. If you would go to the lower time frame charts, you would realize that on the, let's say on the 15-minute time frame or on the 5-minute time frame chart, there was a small period of consolidation. It would look something like this. Okay, and by the way, this also is a very beautiful entry model. Okay, that's how basically you draw the demand supply zones. Before any impulsive move in one direction, there is usually a period of consolidation on the smaller time frame charts, 5-minute, 15-minute, and it would look something like this. It's not going to look something like this. Okay, it would also look like this. Okay, period in which price was basically ranging, a period in which price was basically consolidating, and you would draw this range on the smaller time frame charts, and you would take a long position. If it's a demand zone, you would take a long position at the top of this zone, at the top of this range. You would place your stop loss obviously below the deviation move or whatever the stop loss is. And if it's a supply zone, you would obviously take a short position at the very bottom of this supply zone, and then you would place your stop loss right above that region. And there are almost 80% chances, 85% chances that price would go back down to that spot, and then it would wick down to that region. I can show you countless examples of this, but this is not what this live stream is all about. You guys can backtest it on your own. And once again, this is a very powerful entry model. Let me just explain it to you real quick once again. If let's suppose you have a very impulsive move in one direction on the higher time frame chart, as soon as you would drop to the lower time frame chart, you would notice that just before this impulsive move started on the higher time frame, on the smaller time frame charts, there was this small period of consolidation in which price was basically ranging in between two regions. And that's where you can take a long position. Whenever price returns back to this area, this is where you can take a long position. Okay, placing a stop loss just below any previous low, and there are almost like 85% chances, 80% chances that price would be bouncing off that spot. Okay, so on the Bitcoin chart also, we have a very nice period of consolidation on the smaller time frame chart present around here. This is the first thing. And secondly, I'm expecting that because there was a very nice deviation below this support, price would eventually, whenever it goes back down to this region, it may happen, it may not happen. We are not going to get into that debate. But yeah, whenever price goes back down to this region, it's going to act as a very strong support, and for some reason I'm not willing to build a long position around here or somewhere around here. The main problem is that because I do not have a very precise invalidation point in any of these cases. For example, if I'm building a long position around here, I would be forced to place my stop loss below this low. If I'm taking a long position around here, I absolutely don't have any choice for placing a stop loss, at least looking at the 4-hour time frame chart, because the only choice is going to be somewhere around here, and I'm not willing to take that risk, where I'm taking an entry around here and I'm placing my stop loss below this low, because this is going to absolutely be a compromise in risk to reward ratio. So yeah, whenever price goes back down to 92.5k, let me repeat this statement, that this is what's going to be the best possible entry in this whole situation. You would have to wait a little bit. Okay, it may take some time, but if price goes back down to 92.5k, 92.6k, there are 90% chances that we are going to have a very good bounce of that support area. Okay, now let's quickly take a look at the USDT dominance chart also. Let me just remove these drawings once again. Okay, so one way that you can take a look at the Bitcoin chart, first of all, you had price breaking below the trend line. Okay, price fell back into this higher time frame support. Then we had a bounce off this support area. And by the way, I was updating this in real time in my market updates channel on Discord. So once again, if you would like to join Discord, the link you can find in the description of this video, and you can open up a support ticket, and the support staff, they would assist you. So we had a break below this trend line, fell back into this higher time frame support, then we went back up, and look how precisely we reacted at this resistance area. We went back up, we reacted at this resistance area. Okay, you could have taken a short position around 102,000, then we dropped back down to this support area, 98.7k, sorry. Then we went back up, retested this trend line, then we dropped down a little bit. And let's see what happens next, because so far we are seeing a decent reaction happen at this trend line, and I'm expecting that price would eventually go back down. But it's less dependent on the Bitcoin chart, but it's actually more dependent on the USDT dominance chart. Okay, if you wish to be a good trader, you would have to become a good storyteller also. Okay, if you wish to be a good trader, you must be able to explain the context of everything about what's happening on the chart. You must be able to do that. You cannot turn a blind eye towards all of these moves. If somebody asks you that what exactly happened around here, you must be able to explain it, that the reason price had a rejection of this area was because there is a resistance present around here. Then we reclaimed this resistance area, then we went back up, gave a nice bullish retest at this area, and that's when we bounced off this area. Okay, so similar is the case here. You can explain this whole situation first of all in terms of fundamentals. I explained this earlier at the very beginning of the live stream in terms of stock market. You can explain this in terms of the Bitcoin chart. Alternatively, if you are completely clueless looking at the Bitcoin chart, take a look at the USDT dominance chart also, and that's where the story becomes a little bit interesting. Also, if I remove this trend line, because this one is already played out, by the way, we had this trend line on the USDT dominance chart, the first rejection of the trend line, the second rejection of the trend line, the third rejection. If you would adjust it slightly, we had this fourth rejection, fifth rejection. And remember this thing once again, whenever price is heading into a trend line over and over again, and the rejections or the bounces, they're getting smaller and smaller and smaller, that's when you know that, okay, price is about to break above that resistance area or below that support area. And this is what exactly happened. We had this huge impulsive move in one direction. We had a break above this resistance area, and I've been warning about this for the past 3 to 4 days, that USDT dominance, it's not going to give up easily, because we have this very strong weekly support. Okay, this is not an ordinary support, this is a very important weekly support. So how do you anticipate that USDT dominance would just straight away go through this support area? It's not immediately possible until and unless we have some kind of huge news. Market was expecting that there will be a news about the creation of Bitcoin strategic reserve, but that obviously did not happen. And I was mentioning this in my last live stream also, that the only way that USDT dominance would give up on this weekly support is if an announcement is being made about strategic Bitcoin reserve. So for now, there is a strong resistance present around 108k, 107k, and any opportunity that you get whenever price goes back up to that zone, 110k, 109k, that's when you can build a solid short position as of now. Okay, so we had this trend line, and once again, you know that if we have this trend line formation, price would eventually break back above the trend line. Okay, and this is exactly what happened. We had a very impulsive break above the trend line. We hit into this resistance area. By the way, this was the second retest. This was first small retest of the resistance. This was a second retest of the resistance area. Once again, a very interesting thing happened, and this is a lesson for all of you. There is a reason why I'm always saying that these entry models, they are quite strong, because I have done the proper back testing. I know that I've been using these entry models over and over again for the past few years, and I know that how exactly do they work in the real-time market. So if you look at the smaller time frame chart, by the way, the 4-hour time frame chart also, it's going to look very similar. But notice that I explained to you the deviation move around here. Okay, and by the way, all of these charts that you would take a look at, for example, let's take a look at the total 2 chart. You can take a look at the Ethereum chart also. You would find countless examples of deviation moves. Okay, you would find multiple examples of deviation moves. Dodge chart, all of these other altcoin charts also, you would find number of different examples of deviation moves, and you would realize that how beautifully a deviation plays out on the chart, because there is a complete logic behind behind the reason for deviation playing out that beautifully. So in this situation, we had the first retest of resistance area, we had the second retest of resistance area, and in this situation, price tried to break above this resistance area. And what eventually happened, let me just explain it to you very quickly, that obviously this is a chart for USDT dominance. You cannot trade this chart, but if this was an actual chart, then in that situation, this would have been a very good short position. Okay, this would have been a very, very good short position, because a deviation had happened above this resistance area. So what happens in these kind of situations is that all those people who try to take short positions at the resistance area, they have their stop losses placed above the resistance area. They get stopped out when price tries to break above this resistance area. Okay, and we know that almost 90% of the traders out there in the market, they are not retest traders, they are breakout traders. So all these people who would see this breakout happening on the chart, they would build their long positions, they would try to take long positions, and they would place their stop losses just below this low. And when price goes back under this resistance area, they would also get stopped out, and this would sort of create a chain reaction, and price would simply just continue to go down. So in this situation, you can see that we created a very nice deviation move above this resistance area. Then we went back under this resistance area, then we went back up. If you would look at the smaller time frame chart, once again, this was very much expected. Whenever you have a deviation above a resistance, any retest or the first retest of that resistance is always a very good opportunity to take a short position. Similar is the case, by the way, with the support also. So we had a very nice retest of this resistance area on the USDT dominance chart, and then we went back down to this region right here. Okay, because the bounce from this region was very much expected. This was not something which was unexpected, because if you take a look at the 4-hour time frame chart, this is the support. Okay, this was a resistance area, and it took us quite some time to break above this resistance area. When we have finally reclaimed this resistance area and we have flipped this into a support area, it's not going to be an easy task for price to break below the support area. Okay, because this is not just a horizontal support. We have 4-hour quarterly VWAP, you have the anchored VWAP as well, you have the 4-hour yearly VWAP. So price is basically sitting on all of these supports. Okay, so it's not just about the Bitcoin chart. Obviously there is a possibility that Bitcoin may reclaim 103k resistance area, it may flip it into support, but you must pay attention to all of these dynamic lines also. And in these kind of situations, when you have these wicks upside downside, you can always use the fib levels, draw the fibs from the start of impulsive wave, end of impulsive wave, and notice how beautifully price bounced off 61.8% level. Okay, so I'm not making up all of these things. I'm giving you proper logic and reasoning behind all of these moves. Look how beautifully price just bounced off 61.8% fib level, and this was not just a fib level, it was also the region of 4-hour yearly VWAP, and then you have important supports in the form of anchored VWAP and 4-hour quarterly VWAP. Okay, so it's not going to be easy for Bitcoin to break above 103k resistance area, because it's not about the 103k resistance, it's also about USDT dominance sitting on a very important support. The deviation has already played out. That was a very good opportunity to build a long position on Bitcoin, but once again, the risk to reward ratio was not too good, because when USDT dominance was retesting this resistance area as a deviation, at the same time Bitcoin was once again retesting this region, 98.9k, 98.7k. So you could have taken a long position around here, placing a stop loss just below this low, but in my opinion the risk, it was not worth taking the risk. Okay, but yeah, that's how your long position would have looked like. Okay, this was still a 3.49 risk to reward ratio, but yeah, if you have a good understanding of all of these moves, if you know that how deviation plays out, on the real-time charts, how exactly all of these charts, they're correlated with each other, you can always do it on your own. Okay, because throughout all of these live streams, I always try my best to explain the proper logic behind all of these moves. So the Bitcoin chart, we have already looked at the USDT dominance chart, and once again, if we go back up to this resistance area once again, then there is a possibility that price would ultimately go back up to this region, because we already had a deviation above this resistance area. We have not retested this resistance area now. Okay, whenever price goes back up to this spot, it's going to be a very good opportunity for you to build a long position on Bitcoin. Okay, we know that both of these charts, they're correlated with each other, but they are not perfectly synchronized. They are not synchronized down to the tick. But just for the purposes of making a rough estimate on this chart, let's just try to see where exactly price on a Bitcoin chart would be when USDT dominance goes back up to this resistance area. Okay, so once again, let me just say this very clearly, that whenever USDT dominance goes back up to this resistance area, I'm not sure if there is any dynamic line present around here. The dynamic lines are quite high in this region. But anyways, whenever USDT dominance goes back up to this resistance area around 4.38%, that's when you would have a very good opportunity to build a long position, because once again, these charts, they are negatively correlated, right? So whenever it goes back up to this resistance, you would have a very good opportunity to build a long position on the Bitcoin chart. Because remember this thing, I already have 2 alerts set around here, because remember this thing, we had a very nice deviation above this resistance, which means that this is, by the way, not a chart that you can trade. But if you would go by the logic, a lot many people who may have taken their long positions around here, they would have their long positions stuck around in this region, which means that whenever price goes back up to this spot, people would try to exit their long positions, who have their long positions stuck around here. Once again, I'm just trying to explain this, just for the sake of simplicity. Obviously you cannot trade this chart. Okay, obviously you cannot trade the USDT dominance chart. This is just a chart for an index. You cannot trade an index chart. So yeah, if it was a tradable chart, that's how I would do it. I would take a long position, short position around here, placing my stop loss just above this high, and then I would target the next support regions. Okay, and mind you, this was back on 13th of January. And let's see where exactly Bitcoin was on 13th of January. So that's where Bitcoin was on 13th of January. So once again, if USDT dominance goes back up to this resistance area, Bitcoin would go back down to this support area. And if on the USDT dominance chart, this is a very good short position because of the deviation, at the same time, this is a very good long position on the Bitcoin chart because of this deviation. So you see, both of these charts, they're correlated. Okay, and that's why both of these charts, they have deviations on their respective charts, respective price charts, which means that this is going to be a very good long position. If we take a look at the percentage, I know that's not going to be precise, but yeah, 8.5% USDT dominance was showing. And once again, Bitcoin chart, if that one goes down 8.5%, that's where price would eventually be headed towards. Once again, 92.5k, 92.7k, 92.8k, that's where you would expect that there is going to be a decent reaction. Once again, I'm warning you against taking any long positions on any of these altcoins. Bitcoin, you may have an option. Okay, you may scalp a little bit on Bitcoin, taking long positions, but on the altcoins, it's not going to look good. Okay, because I've been warning this since the past 24 hours also. Total 2 chart, if you take a look at the total 2 chart, this one is still at the resistance area. If you would adjust it slightly, this one is still around the resistance area. But the most important part is not total 2 right now. The most important one right now is actually others.d. Okay, because we know that in total 2, we just have this is just the market cap of altcoins excluding Ethereum. But this one is actually the market cap of all these low market cap coins and mid market cap coin, because this one takes into account the total market cap of cryptocurrencies, excluding the top 10 cryptos, right? Excluding XRP and the rest of the high market cap coins, which means that this is going to define what exactly is going to happen with altcoins. And by the way, you have a very perfect example of price breaking below the trend line. You have very beautiful example of price falling back into higher time frame support. You have beautiful example of price going back up to give a nice bearish retest at the resistance area. And by the way, this is exactly what Bitcoin is doing right now. Bitcoin gave a nice bearish retest at this trend line. And if the same playbook plays out in this situation also, the one that happened in this situation, we would go back up, give a nice bearish retest at this resistance area, then we would continue to fall back down. But anyways, the important part is that, and by the way, you had a nice deviation below this support area, then price went back, gave a nice bullish retest at this region. And if this was not a chart for an index, you could have taken a long position around here, placing a stop loss just below this low, targeting any next resistance area. Okay, so that's why I'm saying that deviation is it's a very powerful model. It's a very strong model, and you can always trade it. But anyways, on the others.d chart, the reason why I'm recommending to you, okay, obviously you would have to look at the individual charts also. For every altcoin, you would have to open up their charts and try to see what exactly is happening on the price charts. But for me, on the others.d chart, there is no long position, right? There is no long position on altcoins, because others.d chart, it's trading right under this resistance area. We had the first bounce, we had the second bounce, third bounce. You see the intensity of these bounces, it was getting weaker and weaker and weaker. And then eventually we had a break below this below this support area, and now we have completely flipped this into a resistance area. Price just retested this resistance area, and now most probably we would continue to go down on most of these altcoins. And we know that if this one goes down, then obviously Bitcoin dominance would go up, which would mean that even if Bitcoin goes down a little bit, that's going to be massacre for altcoins. Okay, so that's why I'm very much focused on taking short positions instead of long positions. So let's just take a look at few important charts. Let's first of all take a look at the Ethereum chart. Ethereum, I have been mentioning this over and over again, that I'm not willing to take any long position on Ethereum around 3100, 3000, 3200, 3300. I would still wait for price to drop back down to. We recently adjusted a limit slightly. This is our long limit for Ethereum, 2892. I'm still expecting that, because remember this thing, okay, trading the higher time frame support and resistance, that's the easiest possible way that you can trade. Okay, and look at this Ethereum chart. We had a break, we had rejection at this resistance area, then we came back up, we give a nice bullish retest at this support area, then we came back down, we give a nice bearish retest at this resistance area, second resistance rejection, third one, fourth one, and then we came back up. Sooner or later, price is going to give a nice retest at $2,800 support on the Ethereum chart. And I usually don't say any of these things, but even if you can bet your house, you should be doing it. Okay, even if you can bet your house and invest into Ethereum at $2,800, you should be doing it, because this is going to be the single best opportunity for you to long Ethereum, or take a spot position on Ethereum. And most probably that's when you would see a huge breakout above this trend line. One thing is for sure, one thing has been absolutely confirmed, that this trend line has been formed. We already had the first rejection, second rejection, third rejection, fourth rejection. It's only a matter of time that price is going to break above this resistance, above this trend line on the Ethereum chart. And most probably, if we are lucky, then we would have a move down to $2,800 support. And as soon as the retest happens, that's when you would see a big breakout happen on the Ethereum chart. Because you see in the previous examples also, this was back in May, right? That's when I guess some news about Ethereum came in, about ETF filing, and then we had this huge impulsive move upside from break above the trend line from 3,000 all the way up to 4,000. That's when the Trump won the elections. We had a break above the trend line from 2,600 all the way up to 4,000. So I'm very much expecting that price would drop back down to $2,800, $2,900, and you would see a huge impulsive move up to $4,000 resistance area just in a matter of few days. Because one thing once again is for sure, that Ethereum would eventually break above this trend line, and that's going to be a very impulsive break. And we know that as the space is shrinking, as this region is shrinking, okay, because you see this is the support and this is the trend line. So price cannot keep on forever, moving in between this range. As this range is getting narrow and narrow and narrow, you would see a very impulsive break towards upside. So this is what I'm expecting on the Ethereum chart, and we already have long limits placed on the Ethereum around 28.92. I guess a DCA is around 27.5. And by the way, a very important thing is that even if you would draw the fib levels, we know that fibs, they always play out beautifully on the higher time frame charts whenever the trend is strong. We have huge wick down in this region, we have a wick down in this, up in that area also. This is not an arbitrary entry. Unlike a few other altcoin charts, on most of these altcoin charts, they have already retested this 61.8% fib level. For example, Solana. I can show you the Solana chart also. It perfectly retested the 61.8% fib level. But ETH has not done that so far, okay? ETH has not done that so far. ETH has not retested 61.8% fib level. That's why you can see I have placed my entry slightly above 61.80 so that we don't miss the entry at any cost, because once again, this is going to be a generational opportunity for you to long Ethereum or to buy Ethereum in spot. If price goes back down to this region, at least you can catch a 25%, 30% move quite easily. Okay, I'm expecting a move at least up to 3,500. Then if we are lucky, then we can have a move up to $4,000 as well. And then if we are the luckiest people alive, then Ethereum would, go on to create a new all-time high after that retest. And there is still a possibility. Okay, this is not just a statement. This is not just an arbitrary statement. Unlike Bitcoin, if you look at the on-chain data, people have not taken profits off their Ethereum bags. Okay, people have been holding on to their Ethereum positions since 2021, since November 2021, when Ethereum created its new all-time high. That's why I'm saying that. That's why I've been saying that, you're going to have a very good opportunity. Unlike Bitcoin, people have not taken profits on their Ethereum bags. So most probably at some point in time in the first quarter, in the second quarter, Ethereum would also create a new all-time high. Okay, and this is going to be an opportunity to long Ethereum or to buy Ethereum around $2,800. And obviously, since these live streams are on YouTube, you can watch this later on. And I'm giving you my word that if this one goes back down to $2,800, it's definitely going to give some big reaction. I'm usually very cautious in whatever I'm saying. I generally don't make these kind of statements, but I'm very much optimistic about this whole move on Ethereum, that as this space would start shrinking, and between this trend line and between this support area, that's when you would see a huge breakout take place on the Ethereum chart, because this is a definition of volatility also. Okay, so as price starts moving in a very narrow range, that's when you would see a very huge impulsive move in one direction or the other. Okay, let's take a look at the Solana chart as well. On the Sol chart also, we have a limit still placed around this region, 208. Okay, I had the option to place my entry slightly above in this region, because if you would draw the fib, start of impulsive wave, end of impulsive wave, we know that whenever there are huge wicks on the price charts, you can always draw the fib levels, and that's when the fib levels, they work very precisely. So after Trump launched his coin on the Solana chain, that's when you see this huge move take place on Sol. Some people would say this statement is true. I would say that Sol made this whole move only because if you take a look at the higher time frame chart, let's say 3-day time frame chart, and if you would draw the fib level, start of impulsive wave, end of impulsive wave, Sol was actually not doing anything else but just giving a nice bullish retest at 61.8% fib level. You see 61.8% fib level retest happened, and that's when we saw this huge move up to at least like 296, 297 region. So on the Sol chart, we had the option to place an entry slightly above the support area using the fib level, but that was a very difficult decision. I thought, okay, this would simply just compromise the risk to reward ratio. Most probably price would retest 61.8% fib level, but this could be in the form of wick. Okay, this is what some people ignore most of the time. So let's suppose that you have 61.8% fib level or 65% fib level, somewhere around here. People would start taking their entry a little bit above this region. Okay, they would say that they don't really want to miss out on the entry part. But most of the times we are taking a look at the daily time frame charts and the 4-hour time frame charts. Okay, this is a definition of 4 hour. This is a definition of higher time frame charts, right? So most of the times you would see a wick down like this. Okay, so that's why you don't have to place your entry above the 61.8% fib level. Place it at the right region. Okay, in this case I have placed my entry a little bit above 70.50 and at this 4-hour support. Okay, because I did not really want to compromise on the risk to reward ratio part. I was not willing to take a higher entry, because even if price goes back down to 61.8, most probably it would give a wick like this, and that's when we would get filled on our Solana long position also. And this one has a very good chance of playing out because of the way these two wicks are in place. Okay, not just on the 4-hour time frame, but on the daily also, and on the weekly also. You have this huge wick downside, you have this huge wick upside, and once again, whenever you have huge wicks on the price charts, and whenever the trend is in one direction, it's a very strong trend. You can see that price has been making these higher highs and higher lows. This was the most recent high that got created. That's when you can draw the fib levels, and that's when they would work most of the time. So okay, that's when they have the higher probability of playing out beautifully. So that's all about the Solana chart. And let's take a look at the XRP chart also. XRP, I think I regret my decision a little bit, because if you take a look at the XRP chart, okay, if I just remove this support area around here, once again I was confused a little bit. Okay, my initial plan on the XRP chart was to take a long position at this support area. You see, I say this always during my live streams that whenever price gives the first retest at support and resistance, that's your single best opportunity to take a long or a short position. And I'm usually always paying attention to the first retest. Okay, I can show you a few recent examples of this. The most recent one was the 𝗨 chart. Okay, chart on 𝗨. We know that most of the AI coins, they were down a lot during the past 24 hours. Okay, most of the coins, they were performing shit during the past 24 hours. Okay, but look at the 𝗨 chart. Okay, this one, since this one was giving the first retest at the support, this one played out beautifully. Okay, this one played out beautifully. Most of the other charts that were sitting on strong support regions, daily support, 3-day support, weekly support, they had a break below their support regions. But since 𝗨 was sitting on this higher time frame support, and this was the first retest of this support, you can see this for yourself how beautifully it played out. Okay, because this was the first retest, it ended up giving a almost 29% more. I can show you another example of this. During the past 24 hours, all the coins, they were down a lot, and we had this long position on 4th USDT. Okay, it went up 10%. Now it has been going down. You can see that this was the first retest on the 4th USDT chart. All the market, the rest of the market, it was down. All the coins, they were down. But since this one was giving the first retest, okay, we had rejection. We had a break above, gave the first retest, and you see this one gave us a 10% more. Okay, so all of these coins that are giving you the first retest, they are giving you the best possible opportunity to build a long or a short position. I can show you a few more examples of this as well. That's why I'm so much confident that, because this is a very high time frame support on the Ethereum chart, that's when you would get the maximum possible reaction on the Ethereum chart. Okay, we can take a look at the ETHUSDT.3S chart also, 3L chart also. They are telling very much the same story. But on the XRP chart, I was showing you the XRP chart, that I made a mistake actually. I wouldn't really say that was a mistake. My initial plan was to take a long entry or a long position at this support area, because you see, we had the rejection, then we came back up. This was going to be the first retest. We know that XRP, it's already a very strong coin, very strong project, right? It's a US coin, and maybe we should have taken a long position at this support area, because this was the first retest. But I actually paid attention to the fib levels. When you draw the fib levels from the start of impulsive wave to the end of impulsive wave, you notice that 61.8% fib level is down below the support. So once again, it was a difficult decision to make. I thought that maybe price would retest this support area, but since it's going to be in the form of a huge wick, maybe we would go down and retest 61.8% fib level also, and I would get filled, having a better risk to reward ratio. But unfortunately, we missed the entry. It would have been a very good entry. But yeah, that's the drawback of taking into account a good number of confluences, that sometimes you get confused a little bit. Sometimes you have to compromise on the risk to reward ratio part. Sometimes you would have to compromise on, let's suppose, the entry part. But yeah, in this situation, I was not willing to compromise on the risk to reward ratio part, and I thought that, okay, I am willing to take the risk of not getting an entry on this position. And this is what exactly happened. We were not able to enter into the position. We got a front run, and price just retested at this support area. So this is my thought on Bitcoin, on Ethereum, on XRP, on on Solana. And let's take a look at the Dogecoin also. Although this one is sitting on support Doge, but it had a nice bounce off the support area, but now sorry, it's sitting at a resistance area. So this is a resistance for Doge. It had a break below the trend line, came back down, retested this support. So if I have to take a long position on Doge, if I show you the 4-hour time frame chart, that's when you saw a deviation happen below the support. Okay, it's not a very strong support on the Doge chart. If you are willing to take a risk, you can take a long position on Dogecoin around here, because we had a deviation below the support area. That's why this one becomes a very good position to take a long. Okay, but the only reason why this one is slightly risky in comparison to the few other altcoins is mainly because this is not a very strong support. We just had the first reaction, one reaction, then we had the second reaction, and we know that in order for a region, in order to say that, okay, this region is a good support resistance, you must have at least 3 possible reactions at that region in the past. And since this one only gave the one reaction, two reaction, so you cannot really say that this is a strong support. But yeah, if I had to bet my house, if I had to sell everything that I have and bet on Solana, a bet on Dogecoin, just like it was the case with Ethereum chart, I would do it around this region, 0.2253 region, this support area. If I had to once again bet my house, bet everything that I have, then on the Dogecoin, then I would do it around this support area, because this is a very strong support. It took Doge almost 3 years. Okay, Doge had a break below this region back in 2021. Then for the next 3 years, we continued to trade, or we continued to break, we continued to have the rejection at this resistance area. Then we finally had a break above, very impulsive break above this resistance area, and now this has become an equally strong support. So if I have to build a long position on SOL or spot position on SOL, I would definitely do it around here, because this is going to be a very good opportunity for you to build a long position, because price has not retested this support area before. Okay, once again, 60 people watching the live stream. Only 40 of you have liked it. Please make sure to like the live stream. Please make sure to subscribe to the YouTube channel. Please make sure to join the Discord server. Follow me over Twitter, 𝗟𝘅𝗿𝗏. This is my Twitter handle. And for more detailed analysis, you can always join the Discord server. And now over to you guys. If you have any questions, any queries, any chart requests, please make sure to drop it in the chat box. And once again, this is a short position that we are in. Right now, most recent one, we are in a few other short positions also. Hive is one, and then 𝗟𝑎𝑖. This one is another short position that we are in. But yeah, this one is the most recent one that we took in the last 24 hours. Fourth USDT, this one is still bouncing off the support area. Okay, if you take a look at the daily time frame chart, it has bounced off the support area. I would say that move your stop loss to break even and pray that price would not go back down to this region. The only reason why I took the small TP around here is because this is a small resistance also. So price will struggle a little bit to break above the resistance area. But yeah, you see, the first reaction is always, the first retest is always a good possible reaction. But you cannot promise what could be the intensity of a reaction. So the first retest has happened, and now the reaction is done. Okay, I cannot guarantee that when the next retest happens, the second, third, or the fourth retest, the reaction is going to be big or small, because if the reaction happens first time, that's your best opportunity. Okay, if you have missed it, then you have missed it. Simple as that. Okay, let's start with 𝗟𝘃. Okay, I already have almost all of these coins charted. So in my Bybit watch list. Okay, so with 𝗟𝘃, the case is very simple. If I show you the higher time frame chart, let's say the 3-day time frame chart or the 1-day, you can know that this one is not looking good. Okay, I already have the alert set around here. I already have the alert set around here. If this one goes down to $9, I would definitely be willing to buy, because this region has not been retested in a long time. If this one goes back up to this area around here, 21, 20, that's where I would build a short position, because on the 3-day time frame chart, you see, before starting the live stream, I was updating in my market updates channel also that most of these coins, they have already lost their higher time frame structures. Most of these mid market cap and low market cap coins, even I mentioned at the very beginning of the live stream also, most of these coins, they've already lost their higher time frame structure. They've already lost their higher time frame supports. Okay, which is not a good thing. You can blame it on others.d, others dominance. The same is the case with 𝗟𝘃 as well. This one is already broken below this region. And by the way, I've been paying attention to the higher time frame charts. This was exactly the reason why we took this short position on 𝗟𝑎𝑖. You can see that Price had a break below the resistance support area, consolidated, went back up, give a nice bearish retest at this resistance area. That's when we took the short position, and price then went down almost 20%. Okay, so on the OD chart as well, price has already broken below this resistance, below the support area. Now whenever it goes back up to give a bearish retest at this resistance area, I would definitely be willing to take a short position based on the smaller time frame chart, and I would be setting my TP somewhere around here. Okay, so this one is not looking good. If you're planning to take a long position, please don't, because the chart is not in a very good shape. Okay, I would adjust it slightly like this, and let's set the alerts around here. So whenever it goes back up to this region, you can definitely take a short position. Taking a long position is a big no-no until and unless this shit goes back down to $9. Ondo. We already have a spot limit on Ondo. If you have not paid attention to it, I guess I did share it on my Twitter account also. This is our entry on Ondo. Okay, it may take quite some time, okay, for price to drop back down to this spot. But if Bitcoin goes down to 92.5k, if Ethereum goes down to $2,800, if others.d starts going down, all of these altcoins, they would also give you a very similar kind of move. So that's why it's still an 8x10 setup. We have a nice double bottom around here. The neckline of this double bottom has not been retested. We have a very nice support area that has not been retested. The first retest once again is going to be the best opportunity to take this long position. It's still an 8x10 setup. I have not looked at the dynamic lines, but yeah, the dynamic line has moved quite a bit above in this range. But yeah, whenever you get the opportunity to take the long position, you can always do that. Even if you draw the fibs for this whole impulsive move, for this, let's suppose if you're looking at the weekly time frame chart or the monthly time frame chart on the Ondo coin, let's suppose the monthly time frame we are looking at, this is the monthly time frame. You would draw the fibs from the very start of when this coin was launched exactly a year ago to the all-time high which was formed in December 2024. You would notice that this is a 61% fib level. So that's why I'm saying that this one has a rating of 8x10 or even 9x10, 9.5x10. You can give it a higher rating also. Whenever Ondo gives a retest at 95 cents, it's going to be a very good opportunity for you to build a long position on Ondo. Okay, Algo. I guess I have a short position on Algo. No, yeah, this was a long position on Algo. Okay, and by the way, I actually shared the chart for Algo for this post as well. So I was trying to explain to people that either we are too early in this cycle or the altcoin rally is never happening. Because you see Algo, this is a chart for Algo Rand. You can see that that's where we are on the Algo chart. This is the weekly time frame chart, by the way, and this is where the all-time high for Algo is. So you can see how down bad we really are right now, okay, on most of these higher market cap coins, large market cap coins. So either, once again, I'm not talking about Bitcoin and Ethereum. We are definitely not early on Bitcoin. Early was when Bitcoin was around 15,000. Early was when Ethereum was trading below $1,000, around $800, $900. So you are definitely not early in the cycle in terms of these 2 or 3 coins. You are not early on Solana. Early was when Solana was trading around $8, $9. But for the rest of these altcoins, either we are too early in this cycle, because for an altcoin rally, you would have to create a new all-time high on Algo Rand, right? But this one is like down almost 80%, 90% from its all-time high. So we are definitely not early in the cycle, okay? Sorry, in terms of Bitcoin and Ethereum. But in terms of altcoins, either we are too early or we are absolutely done and there is not going to be any altcoin rally. And it makes sense also. 30 million tokens there are in the market, and for an altcoin rally, whenever you have an altcoin rally, almost everything goes up. Almost all the coins, they go up, okay? But if there are 30 million tokens in the market right now, and if we just need $1 billion for each one of these to create a new all-time high or go high up, give a 30x, 50x, 20x, 10x returns, then we don't have enough money for that, even if we take into account the whole GDP of the entire world, okay? So yeah, that's something you need to question a little bit. I would definitely recommend reading this post. This is a very beautiful post, although a humor has been included in it. But yeah, I've shared the link in the chat box also. Please make sure to follow me over Twitter and give this post a read. So on the Algo chart, this was, once again, you can see a perfect example. Price was trading under this resistance area since October 2022. We had a break above. We give the nice first bullish retest at this support area. This was once again your best opportunity to take a long position. And by the way, I would say that this was a 10 by 10 setup, because this one had the, on the daily time frame chart, this one had the ELD VWAP also. I have not looked at the weekly. Yeah, on the weekly time frame, this one had the quarterly VWAP also. So this was a 10 by 10 setup. Okay, long position. I'm not willing to take any long position right now because the support has already been retested. And if price breaks below, that's when I would take a short position. Simple as that. Okay, on the algo chart, because this one is trading under the resistance area on almost all of these different time frames. 4th USDT, Ondo, and Chess. Let's remove the drawings. Let's draw. If we take a look at the 3-day time frame chart, then this one, whenever this one goes back up to retest this resistance, that's going to be a very good opportunity to take a short position. So let me set the alerts around here. Chess USDT, I would definitely take a short position around here. Okay, placing my stop loss slightly above in this range. And yeah, that's why I'm saying that every single chart that you would open up, you would notice that price is breaking below the higher time frame supports, and all you would find is good short positions. Trump 22.7 area, is it worth it for a long position? We had the long limit on Trump. We missed it by 1%, 2%, then it went up 60%, then it dropped down to our entry. We closed it break even because it's not something that I'm willing to take a risk on. And there is not enough historical data on the Trump chart to say anything, to be very honest. So yeah, I would have to wait a little bit. Hello, how old are you? I'm 24 years old. Could you take a look at UNI and Eve? Let's just quickly take a look at Urius. I have not looked at Uri in a long time. Yeah, this one, same story, trading under higher time frame resistance, and luckily I had not noticed this one recently. And by the way, you have a perfect example of a deviation once again. I don't like trading this coin, to be honest, because this one sometimes has some scam moves. That's why I did not take long position on this one, luckily, once again. So this one had a nice deviation move above the resistance. Price was not able to break above the resistance, which automatically turned into a very good short position. So you see, this one played out beautifully. And now you had the bounce off the support area. Okay, this was the first bounce, second bounce, third bounce, and price had a break below. So if I have to take a short position, I would definitely do that around here. Even if I adjust it slightly, I have to make a few adjustments. But yeah, a short position around here, placing my stop loss above in this region, that's going to be a swing short position and targeting the next support area. Let's set the alerts around here. Whenever this gets triggered, we would take a short position. If you are in long positions on any of these coins, you are literally just cooked. Okay, what's the next? ILV-USDT. Okay. ILV-USDT. Okay. Once again, same story. Price breaking below the support area. Okay. On the 3-day time frame chart, and you have the first bounce, second bounce, third bounce, fourth bounce. You have multiple bounces. And then if you take a look at this deviation below the support, okay, this is a deviation below support, and whenever you have deviation, the next retest is always a very good opportunity to build a long position. This was the next retest, and if you would adjust it slightly, I would definitely take a short position on ILV. You see what I mentioned at the very start of the live stream? I said all of these altcoins, they have lost their higher time frame supports, and I showed you only 3 to 4 charts, and you can see this for yourself. All of them are breaking below their higher time frame supports. Okay. That's what it is. Here you go. Okay, what's the next chart we are looking at? Algo done, chess done, ILV done, and let me set the alerts around here. Are you waiting for BTC to reach the 92.6? Can ETH at 28.92 to long limits or CMPs? Yeah, I'm definitely waiting for that. And if we just keep on trading somewhere in the middle of nowhere, like we are doing right now, I'm not willing to take the risk. I'm not willing to take that risk. Banned, please. Okay, banned. Okay, surprisingly, I have not charted this one. But very noisy chart, I would say. Still sitting on the support. I would set an alert just right in this region. So whenever this breaks below support, we can start looking for short positions. But yeah, I'm definitely not looking for any long position on this one, because it's been like quite a few times that this one has retested the support already. The first, second, third, fourth retest, all of them have happened. The first, second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh, eighth, ninth. I'm not definitely willing to take any long position on this one. And alternatively, if you would like to take one risky short position, this one has a small resistance around here. You can definitely do that. The risk to reward ratio is not going to be too great. But yeah, the retest has already happened. So you could have taken a short position on this one. But once again, the risk to reward ratio, it won't be too good. That's only like, 1.74 risk to reward ratio, even if price ends up hitting like that, hitting up in this region. So yeah, nothing interesting on this chart. Long position is definitely out of question. Even if it ends up bouncing off here, I'm not willing to do that. Short position, I have set the alerts around here. When this one starts breaking below, and there is a possibility that it would, and whenever the retest happened, that's when we would take a short position on band. Okay. Can you do Mana USDTs, Decentraland, Mana, and FOMCs tomorrow? Yes, I forgot to tell you guys about this, that FOMC, it's tomorrow. Decision about the interest rates, although there is once again 99% probability that there are not going to be any interest rate cuts during this month's FOMC. The probability curve, it's generally almost in 98% chances. It's all 98% times it's always correct. So yeah, it's a very important date tomorrow, and most probably the price is going to consolidate in the very same fashion, in the very same manner for the next 24 to 48 hours, because we have unemployment claims on Thursday, 30th January. That's going to be volatile day. Then tomorrow we have FOMC. What there is once again 99% probability that there are not going to be any rate cuts. Okay, this is first thing. But which means that this has already been priced in. But something that has not been priced in so far is what statement is being made by Fed. Okay, because Fed has already said in the last meeting also, they were a little bit bearish. They were saying that there are going to be less number of rate cuts in 2025. The initial expectation was back in September, it was 4 rate cuts, then it reduced to 2 rate cuts, and now market is expecting that most probably there are not going to be any rate cuts, okay, or maybe just 1 rate cut. The next month, FOMC after that is in March, so we'll see what happens. But Trump, on the other hand, has been constantly saying that the interest rates are too high, okay, and Fed needs to cut the interest rates. But Fed claims that they operate independently. Even the press asked Mr. Trump that, what authority do you have to, ask Fed to, cut. What authority do you have to ask the Fed to cut the interest rates? To which President Trump replied that because he knows economy and interest rates better than people who are in responsible position in SEC or in federal bank and in other places. I don't know if this statement makes any sense or not, but this is what Mr. President claims, that he knows economy better than all those people who are in responsible positions making these decisions related to economy. Okay, and you can decide it for yourself that if this is right or wrong. So there are not going to be any interest rate cuts during this month's FOMC, which has, and market has already priced this thing, which means that there is not going to be any huge reaction in terms of the decision about the interest rate cuts. or no cuts. But something that has not been priced in is this thing which people pay the least amount of attention towards. It's FOMC press conference. So if you remember 17th of December also, when price dumped from 102k, 103k all the way down to 92,000, 91,000, we had the decision about the interest rate cuts back in December also. But at that time, the language of Fed, it was not too good. It was a very hawkish kind of tone, and that's when you see the market reacted eventually. And also it was released in the statement also that there are going to be less number of rate cuts than what was initially expected from Fed back in September. So back in September, they said that there will be 4 rate cuts. Then in December, they said there are going to be 2 rate cuts. And now the probability has even now reduced down to 1 rate cut. But obviously, if Trump is able to push the Fed to do something, they would, we'll see what happens next. ENA, I already have the long limits placed on ENA. You can check this in my spot trading channel. If I show you the chart real quick, and this is the last chart that I would be looking at, by the way. Okay, so these are my limits for ENA. Once again, the same story, the first retest is about to happen. And whenever the first retest happens, that's going to be a very good opportunity for us to build a long position on ENA. I'm not surprised that this one is breaking below this level. This one is going down because obviously you have a double top pattern on the 3-day time frame chart, on the weekly time frame chart. It's a very important bearish reversal pattern, and most probably we would go back up, give a retest at this region, and then we would go down. Okay, so even if it goes back up to this region, that's literally a 30% move. But yeah, I'm expecting that we would see a decent reaction around here, because on the 3-day time frame you have the quarterly VWAP, and if I look at the weekly time frame chart, I'm not sure if there's going to be enough data. Yeah, there is no data for weekly time frame, but yeah, on the 3-day time frame chart you have a nice quarterly VWAP present around here. What would you recommend to do with regards to our spot backs once from 2022 bear market? Would you sell at these levels or would you continue to hold? I don't know what spot backs are you referring to, but if you're holding any low market cap, mid market cap coins, then you would have to wait a little bit. But if you have been holding some high market cap coins, large market cap coins, then obviously market went up a lot, and you should be looking to sell. It's always a good idea to take profits off your positions. But if you have been holding the coins that are already down below their bear market lows or trading around the same regions, then you would have to wait a little bit, okay? Because selling at this point makes no sense to me, to be very honest. What if Bitcoin is actually in distribution? Catching up on your video now, there is a possibility. I've never really said that this cannot be a distribution phase, okay? Because we are already trading around the all-time high, and it's quite possible that this could be a deviation. This could be a distribution phase, because that's where the distribution phases would happen. The accumulation phases would happen near the lows. The distribution phases will be happening near the highs. And it's quite possible that this could be a distribution phase. And that's why I'm saying that there is no reason, there is no point taking long positions around the current market prices on Bitcoin or any other altcoins. It's a good idea to wait for price. Even if it's a distribution phase, markets would not straight away go from 102k down to 70k, 60k. Okay, anything could be happening in the market, but probability of this happening, it's quite low. Obviously, there are no charts that go straight down. There are no charts that go straight up. Market would obviously be moving in terms of waves. So even if price goes down like this, okay, even if this is a distribution phase and we are distributing near the all-time high, you would see some kind of reactions. Okay, you would see some kind of bounces along the way, and it would take us a few bounces to realize that, okay, this was a distribution phase and now we should be looking for short positions on Bitcoin when Bitcoin starts losing the high time frame supports. But so far price has been holding nicely above these high time frame supports, and that's why there is no need to be worried about anything. If it is distribution, BTC dominance could just fall off a cliff. No, Bitcoin dominance, it really depends on how invested people are into the market, right? Bitcoin dominance could be also, creating a distribution phase. Bitcoin dominance is simply just the market capitalization of Bitcoin. You see that more and more degens, they're entering into long positions around the current market prices. People are buying in spot, thinking that maybe they are too early in this cycle. And that's how, you would see Bitcoin dominance also going up, because Bitcoin dominance, it's literally, once again, just the market capitalization of Bitcoin. Okay, it's nothing else. It's simply just the market capitalization of Bitcoin. And if Bitcoin dominance goes up, this simply just means that people are more and more interested in investing into Bitcoin. Okay guys, thank you so much for joining in, and my girlfriend is also here. The last comment has been made by my girlfriend. So thank you so much to all of you for joining in. I hope you guys enjoyed the live stream, and if you may have any other questions, you can always join the Discord server. You can always DM me. You can always DM me over Discord. You can always DM me over my Twitter account. And this is my Twitter account, 𝗟𝘍𝗏𝗚. This is my Twitter handle. You can follow me over Twitter, and you can find the description. In the description, you can find the link for the Discord server and for the Twitter account also, and for the rest of the things. Okay, and make sure that if you would like to receive a 14-day free premium subscription, all you have to do is to be trading over Bluffin. You can join with this link, or even if you already have an account over Bluffin, you can simply just join the Discord server, give us the UID, and we will be giving you the access to the Discord server free of cost for the next 14 days. Okay, so make sure to join the Discord server. Thank you so much for joining in. Do not get a girlfriend, bro. Please look at charts. I already have one. I already have one. Cannot do anything about it. I'm lucky to have one. It's been years and years, man. Cannot do anything about it. Don't distract a man to. No, she never distracts me. Okay. Thank you so much for joining in, and take care. Have a great day ahead. Thank you. See you guys.